This is the Bar Steward's Enquiry.
Right? You're talking absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
In what way?
You were an underachiever in life. I saved your bacon one time. You were gone.
You handled that well. I couldn't save you. But you did the right thing.
But that's why you don't know anything about racing, John.
I didn't say I do.
Right?
I'm saying that...
What have you contributed to racing? You're one of these take-out merchants. Take out all you can.
Hello, big one welcome. It's the second of our three Goodwood podcasts, and tonight we're just covering the one meeting, which is the Thursday's card. So that tomorrow's card for Patreon members, and of course, if you don't pay, it's today's cards. Joining me is my partner in crime, as always, Jonas Lang. Good evening, John.
Evening, Lee.
Yeah, and also joining me is the king of the big Goodwood handicaps, etc., over the years, Nick Davis. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Onwards to tomorrow. Nick's sort of drawn the short straw here because he's full of 2 and 3 year old races, and poor Nick loves an older age handicap. But if you join Patreon, he's come up with a decent bet in the Golden Mile. Yes, a nice price as well on there. So there you go. Goodwood then. 4 races on TV has been the case all week. It's probably that's all that's worth showing, John.
Well,
I know what you think.
fucking you Edwards is having a better week than me.
John's very upset after the first race today, of course, when Jamie Spencer decided to go via Forest on Clockmaker.
I think he had a look in at the Chichester Festival, didn't he? And
Yeah. I think you listeners can tell John's had a good crack at that, and I know he has. So poor John, he's not in a great mood tonight, but so hopefully get him going throughout the show. Right, the 150, the Coral Kinsem handicap, is a very competitive affair at the top end of the market. There's a lot to like about the top end of the market as well. But I'll come to you, John, first for your thoughts on it, your take on it, please.
you know what to say. You should never rely on horses owned by friends and acquaintances or whatever. Well, that's exactly what I'm doing in this tomorrow.
Ah, yes.
I just trained approval is the one for me.
Yeah.
Tom just basically took his fucking brains out last time at Scott, and I think he thought it was a race to Swinley Bottom. Really, I think that was the way I read it. For me, it was based after 2 furlongs of pace he was going. I was quite surprised. He was on the cusp of still being there, a furlong out, which I thought was a monumental effort, in all honesty. He needs to settle it. I hope he doesn't try and make the running tomorrow. If he does, I'll probably get out.
At least you'll be able to get out if he does.
Yes, but I do still think that this is better than an 88. I think he's got the scope and the physique to go on improving, providing his head's right. And I think quite a few of these are just about hit the ceiling, to be honest. So I'm rocking along with this, with the cautionary note that he might go berserk.
Yeah, I like your case. We know your good friend Tony, who has got a share in this horse, likes this horse very much. He's very hopeful for it. So hopefully that 9-1 generally available can reap rewards for anyone that's following you in, John, on approval.
Yeah.
Nick, anything in this race take your eye?
There's a couple of things. I mean, on paper, these dreaded pace maps, there's about 1 million of these want to go forward, aren't there? So first things, Blake, will it even take part on this ground? Will they pull it out if it's fast? I can see John's case for approval. It actually settled okay. You just gunned it. It wasn't pulling. The one behind it that did.
He just had his brains out, Nick. He wasn't giving up the lead to anybody, was he?
No. And it's not a case of the horse was headstrong at all. One was a bit headstrong, that got no room, was one place ahead of him was Palace Green. And Murphy keeping them out when Aragon Castle for Baldwin's on there might be significant, but let's not be missed in the market. Interesting jockey booking Watcher Matey. Ran a decent race from near the front. Tanya, which is quite a decent race. That's quite an interesting booking. I couldn't be dogmatic about this race. If you had to put me down the most likely winner, I'd give another chance to Palace Green, but I wouldn't be dogmatic or even having a bet in this, really.
Okay, I'll give a little bit of a pin sticker's guide to what I think down the card from market leader to rag. Midnight Gun is one I very much like physically. The Mother Sky Lantern obviously was top class. She's been a disappointing broodmare though. She's only chucked up one horse that's managed triple figures The rest of them have they're okay, but they've never been world beaters. And let's be fair, Midnight Gun was, I thought, unimpressive when winning 8-15 last time at HQ. Has to step forward from that, or cannot justify that price tag at 5-1 on that bare form alone, but might do, given pedigree. Kingman out of a Group 1 champion, who knows? Palace Green, I agree with Nick. I think he had no sort of run at Ascot, was absolutely flying at the death near the line last time, and plenty of running it. And I just think that's maybe a little bit more to come from the mark. Sisyphean's a difficult one to get a handle of, absolutely pissed up at York first off the wind up, off 80, now off 90. Is that enough to thump it in this grade? Possibly, but we don't know. We're all guessing on whether that's the ceiling of Sisyphean. Maybe not. Blake, yes, I agree. Nick Ground, also a thumping £9 for the run of the race last time at Sandown as well. That's a massive negative, massive no for me, Blake. Approval, what John said, can't knock that at all. Into Battle, the King's Gambit form at Newbury, the London Gold Cup, always worth following. Ran perfectly well in that, and has put in some decent efforts. Aragon Castle, for reasons Nick said. Arabic Legend, don't fancy. Aviemore, can't have a barn of that yard. Watcher 80. I think he's at his ceiling, I'll be honest. I think at 93, even though Ryan Moore's booked, I think that is his top. Same with Mortlake. He got thumped to 94 for beating the wrong one in its maiden, beating a crap field, and he's always struggling off that, I think, 94. And if there is a rag to outrun its odds, even though I don't particularly like the yard or the jockey in Pat Dobbs, Sun at 40-50 to 1 is just maybe worth a small look. It's been heavily campaigned, ridiculously campaigned. They're a terrible team, this lot. I don't know if it's owner demanding it, but Group 2, listed Group 2, Group 3, listed Group 3. It's not Mr. Dance at a decent level. There's excuses on the last couple of runs. Very soft ground at Sandown. It hung off the bend at Sandown. Might not be very good here. But it has run okay here over the 7, behind Harton, last year's a 2-year-old. Last time in the Jersey, it was really strong through the line, ran a weird race. It was last about 2 or 3 out, and then absolutely ran on so strong to the line, as if it were in a second race. It was weird, if anyone wants to watch that back. So, who knows? That could pop up, dropping into handicap company. I don't think the mark's generous of 101, but like John's probably highlighted in this, are any of the marks generous? Maybe not. Right, that's summed up then. The 225 race. 6 furlong Group 2 event. Penalties. A winner of a Group 1 or Group 2 race get £3 here. I don't think we've got any of these in here, so that's all good. So they'll race off level weights. Striking Viking heads the market at just above wrist, 11.08. Striking Viking, obviously now with Hamad Al Jahani, after being sold from the Midland Park boys for, I believe, I might be guessing here, I think it was 600,000. Might be more, I don't know. So that's what I've been rumoured, that's what it was. So that heads the market at 11.08. Nick, you told me off air you've got one in here.
Well, the Striking Viking obviously sets a standard. His form were beating the Burke one, who ran really well in the vintage. This thing stands up. I was quite impressed with the top of Para J.O. Run around an awful lot. Only outing so far, but beat a very good yardstick in Bold Impacts. Now, the maiden that Bold Impact run first time out has been absolutely hot. Ancient Truth's come out and won. Principality's come out and won. El Burhan's come out and won. And in good company, Ancient Truth won that Group 2 at the July meeting. So I think the form of the second's a decent horse. And this one, if you watch it, is running around everywhere. If he's learnt from it, and with Cox, they can learn quite a bit and come on. The time wasn't bad for a first-time outer. And if it has learnt more about the game, then 14, 16 to 1 could be very generous here. It's whether he's learned, because he did run around left and right at Windsor.
But like you say, the price certainly gives you a bit of compensation for any further greenness if he has or hasn't. And Coxes do tend to come on a lot for the run. So, yeah, I'm not going to knock that at 16s. Me, myself, thought the Striking Viking at 11.08 takes up plenty of the market, really. It is the best form. The second at the Curragh decent. It's obviously got plenty of ability. But again, you've got to decide whether you want 11.08 or whether you want to nick a few quid. And in my view, I think you will by playing the 6 to 1 each way Billboard Star. I like this one in the July Stakes. It thumped the Praetorian at Newmarket, and the Praetorian ran brilliant at York the other night. Pair pulling about 6 clear of the third horse in a novice. The Whistle Jacket form already been franked by Armori City. All right, it wasn't the best vintage stakes we've ever seen, but the fact is he absolutely gagged up in the vintage. And Billboard Star has a nice enough profile. It is set. It is what it is. It's a 2-year-old now. We're not interested in it next year or anything like that. But it is what it is right now. And 6-1 each way for me is a nice little play because I think a track's no problem to it. It can lie up, it can travel. And yeah, it'll be strong at the death. So Billboard Star for me at 6-1 each way, a pleasure. John?
I'm rather strong on one here, actually. And it's Mr. O'Callaghan's Black Forza. The run last time out at the Fairy House was hugely encouraging, I thought. Rudy's Apple had the run of things on the front end, strong favourite. This thing was dropped in trip after starting life over 7. Was really fucking green and fairly unfit, I thought. Still didn't look 100% there. Second time up here. Had ground to make up on the fancied horse. The fancied horses filled the frame, really, which I always like to say. And I thought this indicated this horse was open to a tremendous amount of improvement still. He travelled behind the leaders easily, so I don't think he'll have any problem with going up in grade and possibly travelling a stride or two quicker. And the significant thing for me, Rudy's Apple came out afterwards, not only confirmed the form with Snapdragon, thumping the horse by 3 3/4 lengths, off a rating of 90. I think Rudy's Apple is comfortably 100 horse.
Yeah.
And for me, this thing's £8 to £10 better. I think that puts him right in this.
You make a very good case there. I mean, what we're looking at here, 11-1, I think we've got. Quite due.
I think it's a very, very sporting price, that.
Yeah, a bit of 12s with Denise. At least we're not being fucking ridiculous. Napping Striking Viking at 5-4. Billboard Star for me each way. Nick with Aparajeo for Clive Cox.
Do you think that Striking Viking race at the Qatar was all that way? The head number 1 ran a bit gunty.
Well, they didn't fancy the winner.
Yeah.
The message I had, and it has been a bit hit and miss this year, but the message I got was that they didn't really rate it.
Usually the ones that don't really rate tend not to win, don't they?
Yeah, I think they might have gone a touch too hard up front end just to set us up for it, maybe as well. Like it's one of them. I don't know. I'm not rushing to take 5-4 at all. I think Midland Park have sold that probably at the right time, and it's now down a Wathnan to find out if that's all it's got or there's any more in the tank. But 5-4 certainly does not appeal. 3 o'clock at Goodwood is the Gordon Stakes, and what a disappointing field I feel this is.
Shocker, isn't it?
Yeah.
Always been a shit race, hasn't it? I can remember in the 70s with 4 and 5 runners.
Didn't Comanche run win it?
That might have been a decent affair, but...
Well, we're a bit previous, Nick. We've got Crystal Ocean, Ulysses. That's where we hit, like.
Field-wise, they might have been 3 and 4 runners, I think.
It's either that or you definitely need a single-figure draw.
Well, New London in 22, there was 10 in that. Ottoman Emperor, there was 8. I don't think it's been too bad. I just think, I agree, Nick. Now and again, it does chuck up a 5 and 4 runner. But on the whole, I'm more or less disappointed with depth at race, really, which brings me on to plainly say.
It could mean we have a really good Voltiger.
It could do. York really could be special. I mean, Jan Bruegel, the even money needs taking because I believe he's better than these and probably go even more forward than these. Again, it's like the old Kyprios question the other night, and I couldn't believe that went off price it did on the machine.
Comes on this tomorrow.
Even money's fabulous, and I'm a backer at even money. I cannot see any negatives in taking the evens at all. He's a well-balanced horse. He's a bit of size. I just think there's nothing in here that can beat him. It's one of them. I think, like you said, John, he probably goes off, I don't know, 4-6, 8-13, that kind of mark. I don't want to bet anything off.
He looks well faster than these as well if it got messy, doesn't he?
Yeah, I've absolutely no worries at all. So that's my view, my take on things. Nick, have you anything different?
The only one thing I thought, this is running to get more experience in him. I wouldn't expect him to be really, really impressive. I think York will suit him a lot better than here.
Right.
But the others, you say, right, Maidan shouldn't have won when he was here. You say that he may have gone a little too close to the pace in the Derby, but you couldn't really confidently back them.
I don't think they're as good as the ratings. Bellum Justum's got 109, for example. Do you remember when it beat Defiant at Epsom? And it literally had an absolute dream trip. It really did have a lovely, and everything went right. It got an official rating of 92 that day. And then because it won that, like John says in the past about when they run them in handicaps to these listed and group races, all of a sudden it's 104 and then get beat 13 and a half lengths in Derby. Ran perfectly well last time out in the Hampton Court. But again, did it have the run of the race given the fact that they'd gone slow? Him and JRRB really handy. There was them too. And King's Gambit was the eye catcher because he was the only one to come from the back. So I think Bellum Justum's rating is totally flat. They've put it up £5 for that. Like, fuck off. Put it down 5.99 for me, that one. Maidan just isn't good enough, is it? It's just not. Space Legend had lapped it, and that got going before Maidan had put the race to bed. Align the Stars has won an handicap last time for a trainer we can't have, ridden by 77-year-old Joe. Sayadati Sadate, well, you know where that's going to sit, John.
Sit on that cock for hell, yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, though, this has led, but
Yeah.
but that was for Balding. He's going to Spencer and Simcock. I don't know. They might do. They might surprise us all and bomb out. But so, Nick, to finish off, what are you thinking here?
I'll screw the missus or something like
It's better than gin and pate. John, your view on this? Are you the same as with the Coolmore one?
I'm that confident. I'll just put the bet on and then I'll nip down the scroll next missus.
that. Yes, God, oh, you wouldn't in this heat down there. God, 30 seconds of passion.
We're all sweating.
You're including the foreplay there, Nick.
Right, we finished the short preview, this one, but I'm sure you won't mind it. 3:35 race. It's the Nassau Stakes. Used to be run on the Saturday, and of course they're messing around with all
Back
the
when the
racing.
Saturday was our race.
Yeah, and it's an intriguing one actually, and I'm intrigued to get both your thoughts before I offer mine because I want to see if you line up with me first. John, I'll start off with you.
I started from the possibly unwise assumption that Emily Upjohn is nowhere near the horse that she was.
Right.
I don't think she is. I think the Curra was misleading. I think she was much the second best, but she got a particularly thieving sort of ride from Skidmark. He tried to nick it when they were all watching each other. Everybody said he kicked too soon. I'd probably agree with that because he got nailed, but I think it flattered her. Prior to that, she's got stuffed by a non-stair over 12 at Epsom. I know it was off a layoff, but she hasn't always run badly off layoffs in the past, and John Gosden can get them fit. So I don't buy into this needed the race bollocks. Which left me with two horses, really. El Malka, the Guineas winner, who I thought was running on quite nicely at Ascot and probably looked ready for 10 furlongs. But the one that really interested me was the Frog. Sparkling Plenty.
Yeah.
Do you know with Betfair that 5 to 2 joint to 3 with Betfair now?
Well, yeah, I mean, she was 92 earlier today.
Has it collapsed?
Yeah.
Oh.
This fucking thing, she's done nearly all her running on slope. She could improve Christ knows what on decent ground for Rainer Kingman.
That's true. It's true. Kingmans often do prefer.
Yeah, she might think she's running loose. And somebody clearly also thinks she'll think she's running loose because somebody's had a right chunk on by the look of things.
Yeah.
The rest of them, I'm not really into. I don't know whether I trust Opera Singer going up in trip. I was a bit disappointed with her that she couldn't nut that race last time. I know Porter Fortune has gone and won the Falmouth as a result. I just thought she had so much of the run of it and everything went right. I thought she should have won. I'm just wondering if she's hit the ceiling with where she is. She could improve. Obviously, she's out of the saddle as well as me, so chances are going up in trip might help. But I didn't want to back her at 5 to 2, and I fancied backing Sparkling Plenty at 9 to 2. But here we are. The situation's kind of twisted my nipples, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. Nick.
I'm going with El Marker. The dam at 10 furlongs was the key to it for me. She's won the Guineas through stamina and nothing else when everything's gone too quick. She got shown up over 8 in the Coronation. There is a chance, and at the prices where she's twice the price of Sparkling Opera and Emily, Dan was about fourth in the filly and mare at Santa Anita, I seem to remember. I just think she improves up and trip. She's had a nice break since Ascot. At the prices, around about the 8-1 mark, I can see here now, she'd have to do for me. This will tell us a bit about the 3-year-olds against some of the older ones. I mean, Emily Upjohn, as you say, her upside would be good enough to see all of these before, but what is she now? We don't know. And the others are around about the 110, 112, 115 mark. So we will see, but at the prices, they'll mark up for me.
Some interesting thoughts. I'll start off and say I think the weak link is Opera Singer. I wanted to fathom out why she was so weak in the betting at Ascot last time. They couldn't have a bar of her. She had every chance, and she was picked off quite readily by, albeit it is Porta Fortuna, so it's a fair old yardstick. John, just to counter this and how tricky this race is, didn't we say last year that maybe this could be an Oaks filly rather than a Guineas filly?
Yeah.
How she gallops, and this is a massive quandary for me. Emily Upjohn, take the points. She's definitely not as good as she was. If she was, she'd be 4 to 6 for this, and that's why she's the price she is.
I think she's quirky now.
If the Tory was on, this would be 6 to 4. That's the difference. This lad is not the Tory, and she might be a bit too cute for him. That's how I possibly see it. I agree about Sparkling Plenty, improved massively for the Diane Hermes, the extended at 10, and did well to win that. And it's a trainer with carrots. I know this for a fact. Christian Jamoro takes over from Tony Piccone from Sopranos. Imalka, I agree with both of you for the same reasons, that she did win the Guineas through stamina when she outstayed Porta Fortuna, basically. Roles were reversed at Ascot when it was probably less of a test. And Imalka probably will be the one to improve Plenty for a step up to 10. So this is a really intriguing contest. And with prices moving all the time, like 11 to 2 Sparkling Plenty, I'm backing Sparkling Plenty. Now that's like being hammered, like all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I'm in Imalka camp at the current prices. Opera Singer, I don't know. We know market confidence from Culmore, especially last time. It's as if like she's not there or whatever. She's slow to come to hand. They couldn't get her ready for the Guineas. She needed the run in the Irish Guineas. That's why I bet her at Ascot. But she was easy to back at Ascot, John. It's really hard to work out.
It is. It's a fussy ass sort of race, really, isn't it? But you feel as though you want to try and dig the winner out because there's Upjohn there taking a good chunk out at market.
Upjohn, there's Opera Singer that I've just got this feeling she's just not where they want her to be.
Yeah.
Because she won't be this price because the work riders there and everyone else. If she were working house down, she ain't 5 to 2 to win this.
No.
So she's obviously not pulling no trees up there.
I think the market will tell you a lot nearer the time.
I think you're right.
I think one of Emily Upjohn or Opera Singer will really drift out the 3 to 1, 7 to 2.
Yeah. So it's prices, folks. I think that the best advice here is sit on your hands, wait for the machine, lay it on, and then make your choice. If Opera Singer's like 4 to 1 on the old machine, then you know that she's dead. And then you can make your decisions from there as to what prices you like better, whether it's Sparkling Plenty or Imalka. I think they're the two that I think we like the most, I would say, between us.
Yes.
So that brings us not to the end of the show because obviously we've got to do best bets. So best bets on these TV races for our listeners. John, you first of all.
Black Forza.
Black Forza for John in the Richmond Stakes. Nick Davis.
Bloody hell, I'm going to have to go the same Malparagello in the Richmond Stakes.
It's all right. No, two nice prices. Be a good Dutch, that. And I'm going to go... People slag me off for this. They'll say, oh, I've listened to a podcast. He's tipped an even money shot. But Jan Bruegel, but he's the best bet. He's got the best edge. I rate it 8 to 13, round about 4 to 7. Why am I not going to tip it up at evens? Just because it's a short price. Sometimes.
Absolutely.
Last year, I was napping a 16 to 1 shot. So it is what it is. We don't like short prices as a rule, but I think if you're going to lump on one tomorrow, it's got to be that one. There's no negatives there. It just wins. So that's to round up the Gordon. Any other business chaps tomorrow that you might want to mention?
I like the top weight in the nursery. The same Burhan, that's the same form behind Bold Impacts and Ancient Truth. It's come out one couple of times, one on decent ground, well drawn. Top weight here. 2-year-olds can carry weight, no problem. The only trouble is Jim in the saddle. It goes forward. I think it's a decent 4 to 1 shot.
Yeah. With Indian Jim in the saddle, just to confuse punters. CJ will be on that, John, tomorrow at Elburham.
She'd be on Jim giving half a chance, wouldn't she?
Definitely. Right. So anything for you, John, like any other business?
Absolutely not.
John's off to Butcher's to get a big Barnsley chop. We've had some fun, as always. You don't get much respite from us. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow.
You know, we're doing another.
Yeah, I know. We're looking after him this week. It's me, John, and Jack going through Fridays and Saturdays cards just to please John because he loves this place. Like Murta, he loves the place.
Oh, you love this place.
Bye for now.